Good morning. It seems we have a breakout on a few things this morning. Looking pretty good. This is why we typically don't want to be looking for shorts in a bull market, things like this. So literally, I mean, this thing, it did show a little bit of a bear trap yesterday, but ultimately it took off to the upside. Very hard to short things in an uptrending market. It's better to buy support. Bitcoin it's made a fresh all-time high, but it's rejecting. It's currently consolidating under the all-time high. I would much prefer to see this moving or consolidating above the all-time high, not below it. But I mean, it's not terrible, right? We typically do want to see consolidation. But when you break out above an all-time high, it's nice if you can do that and then consolidate. Consolidating after, it doesn't always mean something bad. But I guess we'll find out today if the buyers are truly serious or not. If we look at the overall risk markets, they look pretty good this morning. You can see on the daily time frame up here on the ES, it is still consolidating. It hasn't made a fresh all-time high yet. NASDAQ did make a fresh all-time high yesterday, trading above today's VWAP. You can see Tesla down here did not roll over last night, so we're going to eat that one. That's going to be a loss. Apple basically doing okay. Microsoft doing okay. We made fresh all-time highs yesterday on Microsoft, and then made fresh all-time highs yesterday on NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is going to be gapping up this morning. So we have to wait until the market opens, of course, to see where we are with the advanced decline line. But we'll get there. And Bitcoin, of course, consolidated yesterday at the monthly VWAP. There's your CME. Tested at support, and we're moving away from support. This is typically what we want to see in a bull market. Well, hopefully you guys are long and strong on a few of these things. As of right now, Fartcoin is currently testing July's open. It is also currently testing the intraday VWAP. It is also currently retesting the daily midpoint. And then you can see July's volume weighted average price, which is the entire month, is here. So this is a potential support zone here. You got few confluences. If we are going to see these buyers be serious here, this is a decent spot to see what happens. At least if you want to put on risk to the upside, this would be where I would probably do that. Here are the current positions that I have open. So I bought W this morning. W is a very thinly traded shitcoin. It has a very light liquidity. The liquidity or the 24-hour trading volume on this thing right now is just 152,000 coins. So essentially what I'm hoping for is I'm hoping we get a big chunk of volume in this thing today. And if we could, then we could potentially see this thing rock and roll. Now, we do know that it had a lot of volume interest last week or the week prior to that. And we just haven't seen that interest come back into it. So this is just if we're going to see Bitcoin rip in the next day or two, maybe we can get positioned to the upside on a few of these things, right? Because we know these things will rock and roll. Also, Bitcoin dominance is lowering. So, and then the second thing is bonk. And as you can see, that one is currently losing. This is a 4-hour chart. So basically, I was just trying to get entry right at the open of this current 4-hour candle. I'll be watching it closely. If it starts to, rip to the downside here, I'll close it out. And then last but not least, we have a fart coin. I actually bought this yesterday. I took profits on it. And then I re-entered this position this morning. So it brought my cost basis up from down here to up here. So that's where I'm at. So clearly I want to see this thing find support and move to the upside, and I'm in it quite large, bigger than usual. I've already taken profits on the trade, so everything's worked out with that, but I'm hoping we can catch a move on it today. And since it is right now testing a very valid area to look for intraday support, I want to see these buyers actually be serious here. I don't like it when Bitcoin breaks out and fails, because we've seen that happen so many times, right? We broke out here. Over here was the all-time high. Then we broke out and it failed. So here's the second breakout and fail. I don't like that. Last time over here when we got the original breakout, you can see we did get a nice breakout from here, right? This was a good breakout. This is what we want to see happen. So hopefully today ends up being similar to this day. So here was the original breakout. Then you had a day of consolidation, if you will, buyers stepping up. And it took a couple days for the breakout to actually get going. So we might not see the breakout today, but as the thumbnail says, it is time. It is time. I would like to see it today. Would like to see all of these things just start ripping to the upside. And if we go look at the dominance chart, we'll see that alts are actually in a good place right here. So if we can remain bullish on the overall risk sentiment and Bitcoin dominance stays weak like this, then I do like alts to the upside. All right. Now the alts that I like to the upside, Fartcoin, because it's bullish. It's bullish on the year, and you currently have bullish momentum. Even though you broke down, I understand the chart is very busy. Give me a second to explain what's going on here. Even though we broke down from this trend line, we didn't get that downside continuation that we wanted to see. So if the bears were in control, they were for a very brief period here. So basically Tuesday, Wednesday, we should have saw downside continuation, or at the very least resistance hold. We didn't get that. Today we're seeing it attempt to get back up to where the original short took place. So if it could break back out into this triangle or ascending trend line, whatever you want to call it, then I would look for it to test the top edge of this trend line. But only time will tell. The buyers have to be serious. If Bitcoin rolls over today, then some of these alts are going to fail. If you want to short, obviously you need to find the weaker ones. LPT is a weaker one, but as you can see, it's getting upside continuation today. Pendle was a weaker one, but it has since became strong. It is no longer the weaker one. It is still down on the year, and that's about it, right? The month of July, you're up. So this one could still, not steal. This one could still find resistance. Right? You're testing last month's range, so we could potentially see resistance come into play here, a little bit higher at the 50% retracement of last month's range. And then the only other place to look for a potential short entry on Pendle would be all the way back up to monthly res or the 618. So I'm not interested in looking for a short with the dominance chart being weak and with Bitcoin poised for a breakout. I'm not interested in shorts. The Fartcoin short was very interesting there for a minute, but like I said, we are price reactionaries. We do not try to anticipate what price will do. We react to what price is doing, and it clearly failed to break down. That tells you that the bears are not as aggressive as you think, right? So yeah, we want to see some of these things start to rip to the upside. And Bonk has been strong. This one has not been weak at all, not for the last few days. It's almost been an entire week. This thing has been ripping. This week it's been a sideways consolidation phase. But you can see it's like it's retesting weekly res. So yeah, I don't really like it to the downside. I thought it might have lost its bullish momentum. And basically what we were going to watch to see if that was going to stay the case, we wanted to see a rejection at the April open, the April high. And you can see we blasted right through the April high, came back, tested it, and then you got another run higher. But this does look like it's failing. All right. So we'll see. We'll see. There are like a couple things that we can short, and there are a couple things that we can long. I think we should be looking for Fartcoin to go up. And W, like I said, it has not seen interest for a while. Let's pull up the volume. On the daily, sorry. So here you can see where you had all that interest in this asset. And then as you were pulling back, the interest died off. Died off. We came in, we set a bear trap here. This was a breakdown. We should have saw downside continuation. We did not. Instead, we moved back up to the upside. You can see you did that on an increase in volume. Very thin traded asset. So if we could get a volume spike, it would not be hard to push this thing up. So we'll see how it plays out. But this one is also weak. So this one you could actually look for a short potentially. You're right now testing June or July's VWAP, volume weighted average price. You don't really have an objective level to watch right where you are. Nothing on the higher time frame. Nothing really on the weekly time frame until you get up to July's open there. So you really don't have much as far as an objective level. I guess you could watch this daily candle's low. If you're going to see a rejection and a failure, that's about as high as I would want to see it go. And that's what we got for the day as far as alts and Bitcoin. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin, then you would be looking to buy at fresh daily lows. If you can get a fresh daily low. So your daily low is going to be right here. So you just made a fresh daily low at 8:15 this morning. Currently trading under the intraday VWAP, but well above July's VWAP. The volume looks very bullish. And like I said, you did just liquidate. So if it is going to roll over, it could do so now, as you did take out the white hot liquidity to the upside. I don't think it's a short, but I don't know what it's going to do either. So it's really just up to you. Whatever your analysis is telling you to do, then that's what you should do. Clearly, I'm just giving you my opinion. And sometimes my opinion works and sometimes it does not. But I am positioned long I would like to hedge off some of that risk and find one or two of these things to short. So if you have an asset, a crypto asset that you think is not working, let me know and we'll short it. Ivan, I don't know if he's... Oh, he is in here. Ivan posted ARC USDT, so we'll go look at that one. He posted this in the Discord. You can see today it is not up, it is down. It is down, so we'll keep an eye on this. It's down pretty significant already on the day. I do have an indicator for this. It's hard for me to use it because it's just, I'm set in my ways. All right, so there's the bell. It looks like it might be finding a bit of support down here. What did I just get filled on? Why did I have a limit order out there to short GLD? That's so stupid. That was an accident. That's all right. Let me go look at GLD real quick. As I just got filled on that. That's not good. It's gapping up. It's testing the midpoint of the breakdown weekly range. We had last week of consolidation. We're at support though. Remember, we do expect this ultimately to break down, but we need to wait for that to happen. So I'm not quite sure what just transpired. Well, that can't be right either. It's telling me I'm already up $59. How can I already be up $59? I just got filled. And then Tesla. Tesla's gapping up. So anybody that got short yesterday is stuck. They're stuck. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to watch the midpoint of the gap. If it rolls over there, I'll hold it. But this thing's going to expire worthless tomorrow. So if it doesn't roll over at 306.41, then I don't like it to the downside anymore. Clearly. If it rolls over here and then breaks back down, then I will like it to the downside. But as long as it's trading above this triangle or this ascending trend line, then it just means that we got a lot more time for it to potentially consolidate in this larger formation. So I don't want to be holding a short while it is in consolidation phase. Sideways is never good. We need it to trend. And that's what it is and not doing yet. So I may end up closing that for a smaller loss. Instead of just allowing it to go to zero, I might just close it out. But I'm only going to do that if it's getting upside continuation above that midpoint, as it's currently doing, right? So we'll see what happens. Bitcoin getting a big down move here on the bell. Don't love to see that, but maybe it's just going to make a fresh daily low and retrace. Clearly people are shorting it. You can see that on the liquidation map because we did the liquidity spike. We did smoke that, and then there's more building up, which is good for upside continuation. So people are clearly trying to catch the top. They may catch the top. Obviously, if it rolls over and continues down all day, they will have caught the top for at least the near term. Bonk is not finding support. It's continuing to roll over here. And gold is finding resistance at the midpoint. But this is similar to what we have here, right? This is what we've seen on a lot of our cryptos and other trades. Everything's wedging up. Everything is forming this like triangle pattern. And until we get a repricing, we really don't know what's happening. So it's a little early, but if it does roll over, then I would expect Bitcoin to have upside continuation. But if gold stays, in this triangle, that trend line that I had was the year-long trend that I just deleted. It's just a year-long trend that encapsulates all the wicks. You see that we did break down through that, then we bounced back up into it, and now we've broken down out of it again. So as of right now, this is the trap. You did set a near-term bear trap. Then you liquidated all of the near-term bears. Then we set a near-term bull trap. And then we liquidated all the near-term bulls. So you had a fake out move to the upside and a fake out move to the downside. So now we should see the real move take place. Or this is just a larger triangle. And it would look something like that. Right? And if that's the situation, if that's what it's going to do, then we don't want to be in a position on it yet, unless you're just selling longer term out of the money calls and puts. That is typically the best way to trade a range bound market, right? If you're going to be in a range for any given time, you can sell out of the money calls, out of the money puts, a couple weeks out or a week out or whatever. And hopefully you can make a little bit of cash that way. And then other things that we're holding, like Intel and Pepsi, they're still doing okay. Why isn't Intel up there? So let's just add Pepsi here. Here's Intel. So Intel still looks okay for a continuation move higher. And Pepsi is defending our profit-taking spot. So this is where I said I wanted to see the buyers come back. You can see how yesterday closed. If you remember when we were live yesterday, Pepsi was down below the green line. So we ended the live stream and Pepsi climbed back to the upside and closed up there, giving it a down close. So it's not a bullish signal. This is still a down close. The big long wick doesn't necessarily indicate anything. But if we get multiple days showing us that kind of reaction, then we'll know that they are buying it, and we don't want to close that trade, because remember, we bought this way out in time. We were looking for a larger move up to 140. And it's telling me there are no options on Tesla, and I know that's a flat out lie. What is going on? There. Give me a second here. All right, but anyways, it looks good for now. I like it. I want to see it continue to go up. And then here is the options chain. Oop, over here. Pep. So we're not even in the money yet. We need Pepsi trading above 140 to be in the money. We bought this for $400. So we could flip it for $680 now and make a profit of $200. But like I said, I'm looking for a larger move here. Up to 140. If we can get that, that would be a much better trade. And as far as the expiration, we have 190 days to go. So plenty of time. Plenty of time. We are losing money each day that it isn't in the money. But we'll see if it can hold here. If it breaks down and then closes more than one daily under this green line, then I'll exit the position with a $150 profit. Right? So that's what we're setting. We're doing all right on some of our positions here, and one of our positions is currently losing. And that would be the bonk. Bonk. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Hype is actually doing pretty good here. I would love to see Farcoin hold, but we'll see, right? We'll see. Where are potential levels on Bitcoin? Well, we got June's high to watch. We got an old daily res up here. And that puts you right about the midpoint of yesterday's range. That's actually good. So yeah, I mean, I could potentially look for long opportunities on Bitcoin as long as today's midpoint is holding. Where is that? That's going to be 110,241. So as long as this area holds, I still like it to the upside. What are we going to short? What's up, my trader bros? What are we going to short? What a brilliant day today was. All-time high and all. Yeah, it's beautiful. Good morning, boss, says VT Billions. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, Paper Wiggleman. Heath actually prefers you call him Master or Mufasa. Yeah, has a ring to it. I am a Leo, so it fits. Slothbag, you are a genius, an absolute genius. Good morning. Do you think we have a double top on Bitcoin? 112,000. No, I don't. I do not. I think you have a. You would have what? So like, anytime you liquidate the previous swing high, you can call this a double top. Obviously, they're in a technical analysis handbook, or maybe even a Google analysis search will show you that, yeah, this technically could be considered as a double top. When I am talking about a double top, I am referring to like this wick and this wick. So when the second wick does not liquidate the first wick, I call that a double top. And those are generally my bullish targets, right? Because you did not perform the actual liquidation on this run. Whereas on this, if we would have just put a swing high a little bit lower and then rejected, I would have then, yes, considered this to be a double top. But since we liquidated this, you're either going to see upside continuation from here, or you're going to see a liquidation break. Whereas you took out the old all-time high and instantly rejected. That's not so good when that happens, right? Not the best thing in the world to see. However, since the VIX is rolling over, making fresh lows, we just made fresh 5-month lows yesterday on the VIX, and currently this morning we're trading under $16. We're trading at $15.96. It isn't as low as we got yesterday, Yesterday's low is 1576, but it's okay. It looks better for upside continuation than it looks for a reversal. I hope that makes sense. So by using the VIX as the S&P volatility meter, it's essentially telling us that this move to the upside on the S&P is real. Does that make sense? It's a real move to the upside. It's not a false move. If it was going to be a false liquidation break, I would expect the VIX to be taking out yesterday's high, not the low. We haven't taken out yesterday's low on the VIX yet, but it looks like it wants to take out yesterday's low. So that's why I have more of an upside bias this morning. Mala. Hopefully I answered your question. A lot of your trend top pickers, right? Like a lot of retail traders love to try to call trend reversals. They will be hammering this all day long. They will be shorting every swing high. Even if you make a fresh daily high, they're going to short it because they're going to see this as a rejection, when in reality, the overall market is not telling them they should be looking for that trade. Remember, when the sellers are truly in control, you see big down moves. The VIX would be going up. It would not be going down. It would be going up. This is why I'm trying to tell everybody to look to buy supports in an uptrending market, because you can sit in those trades longer. You can be in them longer. Therefore, you can make more money in the long run. Whereas there is a short scalp that can be taken on this, right? You can short this, but you just have to be a lot quicker to take profits. You do that, then you can make money by trying to pick market tops and stuff like that. You just got to be much quicker. So you get in your short, it moves in your direction, you take profits, you move your stop. And then you will find later on in your trading journey that those trades just simply do not work out as often. Like you end up getting stopped out. You might sit in a short and you might be able to sit in it for a day or two, but then ultimately you get stopped out. Whereas when you buy support, you're actually sitting in those trades for like days, and then days can turn into weeks, weeks can turn into months as it's trending away from your entry. So I still have an upside bias on Bitcoin, and I will have an upside bias on Bitcoin unless we get a bearish engulfing today. If we get a bearish engulfing on the close today, then I will look for a short on Bitcoin tomorrow. But as of right now, I'm looking for longs. If you want to short something, like I said, let's find an asset that is weak. ARKUSDT has already made its move on the day, so I don't love this one. But if we can find one that's up off the daily lows, like testing the midpoint of the day or a little bit deeper into the daily range, we could look to short that. But everything I have on watch is currently like up and looking like it wants to go up higher. Like everything is structured. W is one that I can go either way on, right? I can go either way on this one. I can buy this or I can short it. I currently have it as a long, but it's a small position, just $150. So if I'm wrong, like if it starts to fail, then I can exit that position for a very tiny loss and throw on a short. So that way, if Bitcoin does reject today and dominance gets strong and the VIX starts trending higher and things look like they are starting to collapse, then we will at least have one trade on that's looking for the short. It's just a way to kind of minimize that upside exposure. Your NASDAQ has rejected and is getting a pretty big move lower here. I'm not loving that. But it didn't make a fresh all-time high. It did yesterday, but not this morning. So this could just be a move to pull in shorts, or it literally could just be telling us, hey, today ain't the day to be getting long. And it is hard to buy things when they're up at all-time highs. I ain't gonna lie. It is a very difficult trade to make. Or we could look to short the bonk, because this one has already had a pretty big move. So if things are going to roll over, then since this one's had a pretty outsized move to the upside, we could look for downside continuation on this one. But its structure is definitely bullish. It is not bearish. ARK is a bearish. It looks more bearish. XRP's looking okay. It's breaking out. Pingu is just freaking on fire, man. This is another one, I guess. Since it's already made such a big move, if it is going to be the top of the markets today, that you could potentially look for a short on this, but just understand that you are shorting upside momentum here. Hourly res sitting at 0.019820. And you've only been able to close 1, 2, 3 5-minute candles above that to the upside. 4 total. Your Tesla is up on highs today. Apple is up on highs today. Microsoft is the one that's pulling back, and Nvidia are pulling back. So those two are controlling the NASDAQ move, and the S&P still testing intraday VWAP. VIX trading at 1597 still. The VIX is still sussing out intraday direction. What about SUI? Also having a pretty decent breakout today. Let me just throw on the indicator real quick. So it's bearish on the year. Still trading in last month's range. Trading well above last week's high. So right now it looks too strong, right, to be a seller. But you didn't ask me if it was a short. You just said, what about it? So I'm assuming, I'm not going to assume anything. It looks very strong today. It looks very strong. I don't know that I would want to short it. Unless, I mean, NASDAQ's getting a pretty big move to the downside here. I mean, it's a pretty good size move. So a lot of over leveraged longs getting smoked right now. I guess we could pick one. If I was going to pick it, I think I would have to do Penguin or Penguin, because it's much further higher than Sui. Does that make sense? It's much more, like, it's up much worse. It's up 20%, 27% on the day. So even if you get a small pullback on this, it would do pretty good. And then also bonk, because it's up 4.41% today. Bonk is already in the process of pulling back off the highs. Whereas Penguin isn't. It's still sussing out those highs. Trading above the last 8-hour close, up above the last 8-hour high. So you got 4-hour res you can watch here. That's a short spot, a spot to look for shorts. If you think the market's going to be a correction today, because there are record longs in the market right now. Like, open interest on calls is crazy high. So if we are going to see a pullback, a couple of these high flyers could be what we should focus on. The problem is it's not going to take very much for it to, like, stop us out, right? Because it's already moving so crazy. So let me go ahead and pull Pingu up and get a small position going. Yeah, and Weeks says it's up 29% as well. This one has over 116 million coins traded on Weeks. So it's got a lot of volume in it. All right, I'm going to close the bonk out. And I'm going to... I guess we could try a market order. So yeah, Bitcoin rejected 930. Nasdaq is getting speed, gaining speed to the downside. Gaining speed to the downside. I want to see if FARC can hold this. If FARC can hold this, then I'm going to hold my long. That's your intraday VWAP there. Because this correction on NASDAQ could also just be, like, literally trying to pull in the shorts. But it's a pretty sizable correction. It's fresh daily lows, and it's going lower. Fresh daily lows and going lower. You're at 22.9 now. $22,957. Damn. It's getting speed to the downside, NASDAQ is. So I did get filled on the Penguin short. Right? We're going to watch 4-hour resistance. Even a pullback down to the intraday VWAP would be a significant correction. Let me make sure that's the right VWAP. It's not. Yeah, that's much better. That's more like it. It's still a pretty significant move down to that. That's a 5% move to the downside if you just get a VWAP retest, which is a pretty decent chunk of change. Holding a leverage short. You still have Apple moving to the upside. If Nvidia and Microsoft find daily lows, then the NASDAQ is probably going to reverse, because your daily still says be careful looking for shorts. Like, you did not test yesterday's open. As long as we're above that, have to be careful. And that's all the way down here. So if these two things find daily lows and reverse and start trading back up, that's going to hurt this move. And the ES, not so much. You've only got a 400 on the ADD. Anything over 1500 is typically when we look for upside continuation. This isn't really great. That means your IWM isn't doing so hot. Is IWM still rejecting the yearly open? No, it's above it. So it ultimately did get above that. Oh, you had a nice close above it yesterday. If this starts to rock and roll to the upside, then the S&P will probably find intraday support. If it fails and rolls back over, then I would look probably for a larger near-term correction on the S&P, as long as Microsoft and Nvidia are bearish on the day. But both of them are trading at all-time highs, so be careful. Here's your Microsoft. Just put in fresh all-time highs yesterday. And you're taking out yesterday's low as we speak. And Nvidia gapped up around the all-time high. So Nvidia could find support at 162 where it is right now, or a little bit lower at 161. I wouldn't anticipate that happening, but I mean, these things are stretching out to the upside as well. VIX is above 16 again. You're at 1609. The daily high is at 1624. Bitcoin's still pulling back. Bitcoin on the 30-minute here. Here's your VIX. It's currently spiking up to 16. Here's the daily high, 1624. You can see we rejected that yearly open and just trended away from it. So I would anticipate the VIX finding resistance today. Not like being a huge spike, but what do I know? Bitcoin still looks very okay. Very okay. And your S&P, I mean, it's just sideways. Here's the SPX. Just in a range still. Unchanged on the week. Today's Thursday and we're unched on the week. So it's not bad and it's not good, right? It's unchanged. It's literally done nothing. Cumulative volume delta on Penguin on the 1 minute is under the 0 line, so that signifies it's a little bit more bearish than bullish. 30-second is like bullish. It's way above the 0 line. 5 minutes showing that divergence, right? So I guess if you're watching the cumulative volume delta, if you are short Penguin, what you want to see is you want to see big volume spikes to the downside here. You want to get the very intra-minute volume looking bearish to come in line with your more famous time frames. More people have access to the 1, 5, 15-minute charts. Not everybody has access to intra-minute charts. Can we look at Magic? Yeah. Can you look at Soul? Yep. Pingu to the moon. It definitely had a big explosion. When we were talking about the trade last week, I said exactly word for word. I was like, I hope we come back next week and this thing's trading much, much higher. Or was that this week? That was Monday. Monday I said that. This isn't much, much higher. It is much higher, but I think I said something stupid like $20. That is lottery stuff. All right, so Pingu got an ETF approved yesterday. Oh, wow. Damn. So sell the news, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. I still like the short. I don't know that it'll work out, but I'm going to hold it. Fartcoin needs to get going because that's the one that I have a big position on. This one would pay us good if it started to rip to the upside. Oh, shit. Yeah, I dropped my phone and then it banged off the keyboard and then it banged off the chair and then it banged off the floor. Yeah. I'll look at those other ones. Give me a second. Where did W go? You're getting downside continuation on Microsoft and Nvidia. That just means you've put in fresh daily lows. Tesla has traded way off the high of 307. It's back down to 303. And Apple has set an intraday high of 211. So if all those things, if you get those two continuation lower and then Apple starts to go lower, then we're going to see a down day on some of these risk markets. Bitcoin going back up to test the 930 open. If you have a short side bias on Bitcoin, this would be a place to look to potentially take that entry. Your daily high on Bitcoin is going to be 111. 111,620. That's your daily high. But this would be the area to look. Maybe, you know what I mean? You could definitely throw on a small piece of risk here. Pingu is moving down. It looks like it wants to put in a fresh 4-hour candle low. So let's see if the buyers step back up here on Pingu. 0.018835. We've seen that many times in the community. We've actually bought 4-hour lows before, and it actually has worked out. But this could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I didn't know that it got that ETF approval. So if it got an ETF approval trading for a penny, then maybe Buck gets the ETF approval as well. And yeah, we'll see what it does here. See if this ends up becoming a support zone. We're getting a move higher on Fartcoin, which is what we want to see. S&P is retesting the intraday VWAP. Tesla's moving back up to the highs. Oh, that DD Pro, D Pro, that one stock, that's Dragonfly. It's literally a drone company. I've been talking about these two of late. This thing is doing good, man. I bought it at 230 or 225 when it had this significant correction here. Boom. I bought it down here. It's just been migrating higher slowly over time. Archer, not really doing anything. It's just kind of consolidating here, but you could see a sizable move to the upside if it does in fact break out. So you might want to put Archer on watch if you haven't bought shares on it yet. Just, no leverage, just buying shares to hold. This has actually got a defense contract, so I mean, there isn't any. You still got Russia and Ukraine, but hopefully that's winding down. It doesn't seem to be, according to the news. But anyway, it's a drone company that has defense contracts. It is above that. And another one we were watching, because it's basically doing the same thing, FXI, which is your China ETF. It's literally broke back to the upside, then broke down again. It's actually retesting the 21 now. So this might be a short. It's still within the ascending trend line formation. So if you are taking it today, you're kind of getting ahead of yourself. It hasn't shown the breakdown yet. But this is an area where we would expect resistance to hold. And then Algo. As we just kind of watch these things. Here, let me fix something real quick on this. So this is very bearish on the year. Very weak. It's testing last month's open. Why doesn't it have the previous month open? Why am I on caps? It's at an area of potential resistance. Ooh, no, it's breaking out above last week's high. So it's no longer a short. If we were going to see it roll over, we would have expected it to roll over at last week's open. It did not. You're breaking above last week's high. Could it still be a short? Yeah, because you're below weekly momentum. So the weekly chart, the momentum is still on the bearish side. However, it's not giving you the downside move. You could be in the process of a near-term correction. You're clearly bullish on the daily with bullish momentum on the daily. So I wouldn't be looking to short this just yet. If you're holding algo long from a much lower price, I would just keep holding it. I would probably take profits now, or if it starts breaking back below the midpoint of the breakout candle, your breakout daily. That's what I would do with algo. I would not open a fresh short position on it, or a fresh long position for that matter, because the moves already happened. We wouldn't have been able to get positioned for this one. Even looking at it in hindsight, I would not have been able to get you positioned for it. Yeah, we did. So we would have been expecting it resistance to hold in this area. And since it didn't, since you closed the daily back above the 21 exponential here, we would have been watching this day's midpoint for entries. You didn't get a full-on midpoint check. You didn't test the supply candle or demand zone, right? So I don't know if I would have told you to buy the open of the day. Maybe you could have, since you closed the previous day above the 21. So I don't know if we would have caught this trade. I don't know if we would have caught it. If I would go down into the intraday, I mean, maybe then I could have found where we would have caught it. But I mean, we didn't catch it. So there's no point in going that low to see we could have, would have, could have, should have, right? I'm not interested in would have, could have, should have. I'm interested in what can I do for you today? How can I help you today? I want you guys to get your money today. Can we look at Magic? Yeah, let's go look at Magic. We did just look at Magic the other day, but I don't remember our analysis. Holy shit. This thing is blowing up. It's actually correcting today, but as of right now, it's holding the previous day mid. Previous quarter mid as well. That's a big level. And you're trading above June's high. June's high. And you're bearish on the year. But on the very near term, like the weekly time frame, you're freaking bullish this week. Look at that weekly, man. Boom! I'm assuming this has something to do with Penguin getting its ETF approval. So, yeah, you're currently testing the weekly 21 exponential. It needs to hold that. You need to close this week above that for potential upside continuation. If it fails here, then it'll look more and more like, you know, not great. However, this thing could trade sideways to down for multiple days. If you're not getting like real big downside candles, I wouldn't even know or assume that it's going to continue to go lower. Right now, the momentum is clearly to the upside. Clearly. As long as you're holding today's midpoint, I think that's a good sign, even. So it looks like it's trying to hold last month's high as support. That's what it looks like it's trying to do right now. Right? I mean, I don't like this failure because it closed under the midpoint of that hourly expansion. Yeah, I don't love that. I never love to see a big 4-hour rejection like that. This 4-hour close is going to be so important. And this 4-hour needs to close back above 1912. You got an hour, 40 minutes on that, so yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would look better if it did. If you're anticipating a close up there, then maybe you're looking to buy 30-minute support of 1822 on Magic the Gathering. Magic Internet Money. I'm sorry, it's not Magic the Gathering. I was just making a joke. Magic Internet Money. Lifestyle Media also wants to look at ARUSD, an opportunity for a short. Let's go look. Bearish on the year. As long as it holds the midpoint of last month's range, maybe. You're way above last week's high, so you've lost your downside momentum. And that's like, we're seeing that pretty much across the board here, right? Whereas a lot of these things that did have downside pressure, a lot of sellers, you don't see that right now. You see actually the opposite. We're seeing buyers' interest, not seller interest. It could be because this thing's been getting beat up literally for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks straight. So to have a 3-week correction, yeah, but you could be jumping in looking for the short a little bit too quickly. Like, the short could absolutely still be a trade on this. It just might not be today. I mean, you're even trading above yesterday's high. The momentum is clearly on the side of the bulls right here. So no, I don't like it for a short, my friend. Not even a little bit. I mean, you had a big upside break volatility here. Huge pressure. You're seeing continuation today. No, I don't like the short. Don't like the short. As long as the Bitcoin dominance is rolling over, then alts are just going to be stronger than Bitcoin. We're starting to see a little bit of strength here in the dominance chart intraday. So maybe some of these alts will start to cool off a bit. Come on, Fartcoin. Give me upside continuation, dude. Let's go. We want to go up. I don't like a rejection off the weekly open here. So the W long isn't working out either. Yet. No interest in this thing. We're not seeing a spike in volume. I was hoping we would see some volume come into this thing, but it just isn't. So whatever reason, there's just no interest in W right now. So maybe we should just leave this thing alone until we see that volume start to come in. Right now, people are trading other things like Magic, Penguin, right, or Pengu, whatever this is. I don't know what this is, but this is where everybody's at, right? Everybody in the crypto land, they're on these things. Bitcoin just had a big fresh move to the upside, so you're going to see a lot of interest in the Bitcoin. Yeah, a lot of volume coming in here. Be careful, man. These things, I am looking for Bitcoin to break out. It's time. It's time for it to break out and start rocking and rolling to the upside. It is time. This thing's been consolidating for multiple weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. You're clearly putting in a megaphone formation here on the near term. That isn't typically a bearish formation. When you break to the downside like you did here and instantly reject, it literally means that the shorts were caught off sides. Depending on how many of those shorts were caught off sides is going to determine on how big the breakout is. But nonetheless, we are still wanting to see Bitcoin break out to the upside to fit this overall boom, right? Give us a move up to like 140. I believe that's the measured move. The bigger measured move off of this, from this leg up, is all the way up to 168. Ish. 168-ish. But I'm just taking the midpoint of that move. That would be my yearly, like end of year target. 137, 140-ish. But if we look at these charts, if we just have a 50% up year on Bitcoin, 140 is the target. 100% return on the year for 2025 on Bitcoin gives you a 186 target. So more in line with the measured move. Rejection. We're even seeing Fartcoin reject. I don't like it rejecting that weekly open. Hype is even rejecting. Hype is the crazy one because it broke down, right? Here's your breakdown. Remember yesterday I said if we close above this candle's midpoint, you're going to have a Morningstar reversal formation here. And not only did we close above that candle's midpoint, we closed above that candle's freaking high. So there's still a lot of bullish momentum in this. So my near-term bias is we close higher. I mean, this is a failed breakdown. You got a Morningstar reversal formation on a volume spike even. I could see this thing getting up to like 44.96 in the next couple days. But here's the thing. You did just liquidate this double top. This is a double top because this candle did not liquidate this candle's high. So you do have a liquidation here. If it closes back under that, it's going to look today. If today closes under weekly resistance, it will look more like a rejection to the upside. Let's hold support here. We want to see this thing hold support and start to rotate back to the upside. Big volume spike, instant reversal. Don't love those. I like to see upside continuation on a big up breakout in volume. Alright, I'm going to have to close the W as well because it's about to turn into a losing position and I never let it go red. because it's been green pretty much all morning. So I'm going to close it. Never let a trade turn red, ever. Never, ever allow that to happen. Never allow that to happen. It might hold here. It might roll right back to the upside. Either way, we're not seeing an increase in volume. Not the kind of volume that I want to see. I want to see millions. We're not trading at millions. We're trading under millions. Here's millions. 1.92 million. See, then you get the larger moves. So you just don't have bullish interest in W right now. Pingu rejecting still. This is that 4-hour low. So we want to see what happens after we liquidate that. It's not an engulfing, but it is a rejection on the 8-hour. So right now, the only two positions I'm holding is a long fart coin and a short Pingu. Damn, it's way down there. Well, that's not great. I was looking at something just before I went live, and I don't remember what I was looking at. What was I looking at? Just looking. Yeah, I don't remember what I was looking at. I was looking at a specific asset on a specific time frame, and I just don't remember. So we just took out that low on Pingu, and we're getting downside continuation. Very small position size, because if this thing keeps going, it's going to really pay off big. What did I miss? You didn't really miss anything. We're just looking around. We're looking for positions. We did take a short on Pingu around a little bit lower than 4-hour res. I got long on Fartcoin yesterday and took profits and then re-entered a new position this morning. But we're right now seeing a rejection off the weekly open on Fart. And we're not loving that. Bitcoin looked like it was going to give us some bullish upside here on the 5-minute, and then literally rejected back under the 930 open. You're under the daily VWAP on Bitcoin. So it does look like the sellers are trying to hold it down. Well, this is an area of interest for short entries on Bitcoin. High of day would be your stop loss. The NASDAQ has rolled over and tested yesterday's open. S&P 500 is still above the intraday VWAP. Apple is pushing up to brand new fresh daily highs. Nvidia and Microsoft are both giving the sell side pressure to the NASDAQ. And our VIX, it rejected 1611 and is back under 1590. So I don't love the short on Bitcoin, guys. I don't love the short. I think you're just seeing a lot of intraday trickery here. But if you do want to short it, if you think it's going lower today, this would be a good area for you to manage that risk. Use the high of day. Your daily high is right here. That little wick. 111, 620. So you would just basically market order short and stop above the high of day. That's about as simple as you can do it. Take profit would be around 109, 790. That would be more than 1,000 points. Pingu was giving us downside continuation, but now it is not. We expect wiggling around the VWAP. We always expect that. Because a lot of people look at your volume weighted average price because to them, they just like to simplify things. If it's trading above the VWAP, it's bullish. If it's trading below it, it's bearish. It doesn't always end up like that or work out like that, but that's what people are looking at, right? He was looking at his belly button and pondering the universe. Yeah. I watched K-Pax like 2 nights ago because I've pretty much watched everything on HBO Max, everything on Netflix, everything. Now I'm going through Prime. I never seen it. I wasn't really a big fan of the guy that plays in it. Not Bridges, but the other guy. I know his name, I just can't think of it. He's like literally serving time in prison right now. Kevin Spacey. He starred as like an alien thing or a guy pretending to be an alien. It's actually a decent movie. Jeff Bridges was phenomenal in it. Tony Stark built this thing in a cave with a box of scraps. Who doesn't like Jeff Bridges? Come on. Classic, iconic line. Pepe, just sideways. W, sideways. Pendle, trying to break out. Boom. Is just up 1.65%. This one is also not showing us that the sellers are stronger. It's also reaching for the stars here. Some of these things are literally poised to make pretty big moves. We just got to see interest. We need to see people interested in it. But like I said, you got your interest here in Pingu today, and you had interest in Bonk. You still have interest in Bonk. This is your average relative volume, so this is what it looks like when normal trading is happening. This is what you got right now. So a lot of interest. These are the things that people are looking at. Fartcoin, not so much, but Fartcoin has a lot of interest every day. Fartcoin moves so much. It's a fantastic trading vehicle. Come on, Fart. You can hold support. You can do it. VIX making fresh daily lows almost. Come on. Give me that support. If you're looking to get long Fartcoin, right here would be a decent spot to do it. Clearly, you'd be looking to mitigate that risk by the daily low. If you don't want to buy Fart here, then the next place to watch will be the July VWAP. You've got July's open here. I mean, you got a lot of big levels to watch right here. ES is moving up to the fresh high of day. We might be getting ready to see some of these things turn around. Moving up to make a fresh high of day. All-time high on the ES futures, 633.75. Up here. So intraday, it needs to go all the way up here to make a fresh all-time high. This is going to be your daily high. And you can see NASDAQ found support right where we said be careful, it might find support. Right? You're bullish, so you want to be a buyer at support. 22,897 spot 20 is that support. These two things here, Microsoft and Nvidia, is what's causing this. If these find support and start to trade higher for the rest of the day, your NASDAQ is going to trade higher for the rest of the day because Apple's making fresh daily highs, and Tesla also still strong. Pingu failing to roll over. So it looks like people are trying to buy that 4-hour low. So we want to watch Pingu here as if it starts to hold this 4-hour low. Like if this ends up being the lowest closing 5-minute candle here in the future, then we're going to have to probably worry about that short. It could start one time framing back to the upside. See how it held there? That's your close. It traded right down to the close. Boom. Held. Boom. Held. And then. So bullish entries, you could mitigate that risk so easily. You could buy 0.018751 target up there. Your stop could literally be so close. And it's a larger time frame low. Like this is that 4-hour low. Notice how the volume spiked right when you traded to the 4-hour low. Boom. So this is the close to watch moving forward. If you start closing candles lower than that, then you want to exit that short. Right now, that price on Fartcoin is 1.1498. 1.1498. It has to hold that at the very least. And it is so far. got a volume spike there. No, we didn't. The volume spike came on the sell-off. So that's a little bit concerning for Fartcoin. So we might just be in the wrong asset. Yeah, when you're looking at 5-minute closes, guys, please understand that any minute you can get one of these bitches, right? That's why we like to focus mainly on your higher time frame levels. We're watching it. Have I seen Hyper? No, I haven't. I've been looking at Hype because it's a fast mover. Is Hyper a fast mover? Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, one could say that. Dude, you're looking at multiple hundreds of percents here. What the hell? Why is this thing not on my... 414% on the day. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, we're clearly in the wrong things. We're clearly looking at the wrong things. Come on, Fartcoin. I'm not loving my short on Pingu now. Is Pingu and Hyper, are they in the same family? They got a bunch of new zero fees assets. What is that? Look at these. Zero fees, zero fees, zero fees, zero fees. Very, very thin volume. Holy shit. 92,000 people. 92,000. That's it? My gosh. This might be like a dump. A lot of volume in this one. Anyways. I don't see him. Fart's breaking down. We just lost our support. We haven't closed under it yet, but we're losing it. So I'm going to close this trade out probably. It's testing the July open right now. So, not loving that. S&P is making fresh all daily highs. We're seeing a lot of stocks start to get bullish, so maybe it just wants to make a fresh low liquidation and then rock and roll. As you can see, the low liquidation would be here, but that's not going to be your daily low. That's just going to be your near-term low. So maybe if it liquidates that, bounces off of the July VWAP here, I'll still hold it. But if it starts closing under that, I'm exiting because I still have profits. I don't want to lose all my profits. But going back to looking for these hot alts. I just saw freaking magic, dude. I just saw it. And it wasn't hot. There it is. What? It's down 8% from what? There's the open of the day. From the day, it's down 8% on the day. Okay. So it isn't hot. It was hot yesterday, not hot today. BOEM is hot today, up 8%. BOEM's always hot. That's why BOEM is on my favorites. Oh, son of a bitch. Just bear with me. We'll find some. Here we go. W's hot. Cody's hot. Spell and Anchor. Not really, though. None of them were up over 5%. Jasmine. Audio 2.5%. 6% there. MEW 5.6. This one's up 12. Another one that's up 12. Render. We're halfway through the list and I still haven't seen it. That thing is up 400%. I might not be able to trade it. $25% on Supra. Hold on 1 second. I have to take this. This is so annoying. All right, sorry about that. What were we looking for here? Okay, we're looking for that hot son of a gun that is like up massively, and then I had to take that phone call. That sucks. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, so it might not be. I might not be able to trade that. Super's up 25%. That other one, that thing was up 400%. There's Pingu. And I tell you what, man, they've added so many. They're constantly adding stuff to this. This one's up 20%, but it doesn't have a sufficient amount of volume for me. But if it moves really fast, like a BOEM or a fart coin, then obviously I'm only going to be trading it with a few $100s. Like you should be able to get filled on a few $100s, even if the asset's trading like tens of thousands of coins. You should have no issues with fills. This one's up 50%, and there's no fees on this. So this one, something like this, as long as you get decent fills, that's another huge issue when you got light liquidity, is getting filled at the price you want to get filled at. So like it would absolutely suck if you market short this thing and it drops you to like 0.04. You're going to be getting killed on that instantly. And some of these will do that. I've market ordered in before and got filled a full 15 or 20 ticks away from near-term price. So you're instantly losing big money. Here we go. It's a new one as well, 3.67 million. The reason it's got 3.67 million is because it's up so big. So it is tradable on weeks. That's freaking phenomenal. I'm just going to give it a quick look just to make sure nothing else is up multiple hundreds of percents. There's only 7,000 coins traded today, and this thing's up 29%. All right, that's good enough. Huge, man. Let's test the liquidity with a market order long. Oh. That's why. I mean, I hate that. I hate that with a passion. I can only buy 5,000 of those. So it would be 1,590. $2,000. That's $23.90. Yeah, that sucks, dude. So I mean, this isn't even tradable. $38 position. Wow, it's moving. That's so funny. I didn't think it would even move the meter. I really didn't. I'm already down $10. This thing moves fast, bro. This is when you could get literally killed on, guys. All right, so let's flash close this and go short. Dude, why do I gotta go through all that? Just let me exit this thing. Thank you. All right. Thanks for explaining. You're welcome. Have you seen Hype? No, I did not. Hyper, not Hype. Hyper. It's on watch now, but clearly I can't trade it. He was looking at his belt. Yep, read that. I can trade Hyper USDT on BitGet. Yeah, I can't trade on BitGet anymore. I'm an American. Pingu is moving up. Yeah, it is. It's holding that 5-minute close as support. It sure is. Pingu, launched by the creators of Pudgy Penguins on the Solana blockchain with plans to expand Ethereum and other ecosystems. Launched in July 2021, Pudgy Penguins are 8,888 NFTs. Thank you for the explanation. That's fantastic. Pudgy Penguins. Pudgy Penguins. I like it. I like the name. I dig it. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That thing moves. I'm literally in this with 38 US dollars. So why am I losing? Price is under me. I am short. Hello. Look how the funding rate is negative 2%. That is why, guys. Look at this. I've already lost $15 just based on the funding rate. Holy shit. Talk about fees. Oh, my goodness. It's impossible to make money on this. Like virtually impossible. They're charging you 2% on funding. And that's going to happen every 58 minutes or 8 hours. Hopefully every 8 hours. Like normal. But that isn't right. Wait. Yeah, it is. Okay. Every 8 hours, but still. So I'll get charged $15 every 8-hour period. This thing would literally need to like not be choppy. If it's choppy even for 4 hours or 5 hours, you're probably not going to make money. That's insane. Yeah, so don't trade things like this. Always pay attention to that funding rate. I was just being stupid and jumped into it, not even thinking. I didn't even look at that. You typically do not want to trade anything that has a funding rate inside of that cursor. If there is a whole number inside of that cursor, you do not want to trade it. Generally, we look to trade things that have a funding rate in the 1,000th and under place. You definitely never want to trade it if there's a positive integer in the literal ones column on the left side of the decimal place. That is insane. I've never seen that. Never seen that before in my life. We're going to have to close the Pingu short. Because it's going to turn negative. We don't allow them to turn negative. See what I've paid here on Pingu? So like a buck, $1, as long as this number is positive $2, then it's a break-even trade. Never let it go negative. Never let it go below where you lose money for the entry. And since it's charging me basically a buck for entry, you gotta think it's going to charge you another buck for exit. So that's what we're currently doing. Basically, Pingu just retested the 4-hour low and found support. It literally found buyers just by making a fresh 4-hour low. So that's what it looks like. Made a fresh 4-hour low and retested the intraday VWAP, and it's bouncing. That's what I call wiggling. Price is wiggling. Look at that volume spike too. So it didn't actually test it. It looks like it tested it on the 4-hour chart, but on the 30-second chart, it did not even get close to it. But look at the volume spike. Here's the volume spike through the actual fresh 4-hour low. And then you can see big volumes. Boom, 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 boom. And price instantly rejected. And then light volume as it's moving higher. This tells us that there was actually more buying taking place here than selling. There was actually more bids hitting you were seeing a lot more people hitting the buy button. The market orders. Aggressive buying. So yeah, I mean, a 30-second close above that and I'm exiting. A spike above that and I'm gonna take a small itty bitty loss. I have Pingu exit plans around 0.02200. So he's looking to exit around here. 22 to 23, so it's quite a large profit target. After an already pretty extended move. That's going to give us our close above. 2 closes above. Let's see, does it reject it? It's not. So we're out. And just like that, we're out. So we need Fartcoin to get going here. ES is looking good. It's looking good. Not only did you make a fresh daily high, these are 15-minute candles. So you've spent almost 45 minutes here trading above the high of day. That's upside continuation. Tesla making a fresh daily high. Oh, is that the high? Let's make it bigger. I can't see it. High 307.92, so it is a high. So it ain't a fresh daily high yet. Apple's still trading on highs. Microsoft has not made fresh daily lows, and Nvidia has not made fresh daily lows. If they find support and they start rotating up, your ADD is looking good. It's stretching to the upside. So you started down here in the negative territory. right? In the negative. And your stocks are advancing on the day. That's your broader market. Hence, the ES is making fresh daily highs. It's got to go to this red line up here. That's a fresh all-time high. So alts are struggling to stay bullish, some of them. And let's be honest, I mean, Farcoin's up 3.5% on the day. So it's just, it looks like it's in the process of rolling over. 30-second chart is still showing bullish volume. You're seeing bullish volume here on the 1 minute too. But it's subsiding, right? It's waning. The bullish volumes are waning. All the way up to the 15-minute, we're bullish on volume. So any big bullish spikes of volume are going to propel this higher. We just need to hold it for a little while longer. We're still in good shapes profit-wise. We're still above $300, which isn't a bad day. It's not a great day, but it's definitely not a bad day. We took a fresh short on Hyper USDT, but the freaking funding rate is killer on that. If you're just joining us, please do not enter that. It's 2% on the whole number, on the left spot of the decimal point. Negative 2%. Wait, if it's negative 2%, I should get paid for holding shorts. Maybe that negative symbol, it just means that it's negative against me. I'm short, so it's negative versus me. If it were to flip to positive, then I would make $15 every 8 hours. So dumb. Where would you exit if you were long Pingu? Well, I wouldn't have gotten long Pingu here. Let's be clear, right? I would have gotten long Pingu when we started talking about Pingu. Down here. If you remember what I said wait for the net. We were on this 8-hour candle. We were making this candle. It was Monday's stream. So none of this data was here. This is what we were looking at. We were really close to the close of this 8-hour candle. I said, wait until you get another 8-hour candle around the open of the day, the new daily candle. If you make a liquidation below this low and then trade back up into the range, back above 0.014313, then you can be a buyer. And you can set your stop loss down here below this low. And I said, and what you want to see, I think we even went back to over here. And I use this as an example. I said, what you want to see is you want to give that next 8-hour candle time to basically liquidate the previous low and then close back up into the range to show you that it's a potential trap. And then you want to see it take off from there. And that's what it did there. So that was the trade. That was the setup. That was the play. So here's your next 8-hour candle. You made your low liquidation. That would have been your long. At that price, stop loss here. That's when I would have gotten long. And here we are. So I would not have gotten long up here. I never want to buy highs, especially if the move is already extended. So I can't give you a profit target from here, but if I would have got long there, I would have taken profits on this day because this candle, because it simply liquidated that candle. That would have been my first near-term target. You're trying to, basically what you're expecting is you're expecting This is a 3 standard deviation move, according to price, right? So if you take away today's candle, all right, with this data, if you look at your average true range, you're going to see that this thing is moving approximately 1535, right? That's what you're moving in a daily range. So your daily range target from this close right here would be that. So 1535. Well, I'm not. Sorry, I wasn't down low enough. So this would have been your maximum target for longs, because that's within what it's moving now, right? This is why I want you guys to put this on your indicators. This is how you gauge your targets. So that's max. 15 is max. That's right here. So you've already moved that plus an additional, what, 2,000? That's like a 3x move. So you're buying a candle after it's already moved up 3 standard deviations. That's literally the worst time to buy. I don't know that it's going to pull back, but probabilities say you're not going to get a move up to here today. The probabilities are so far against that happening that it just doesn't make sense to buy it. Nvidia is making fresh daily lows. So, I mean, if you bought it today, I would exit it, just to be honest. I wouldn't even hold it. Now, here's the thing. Just look at Hyper. It could get up there. I'm not saying that it's not going to get up there. I have no idea what it's going to do. It's up today, right now. It's up 24%. So if it were to go up to 400% like Hyper, then your target would be way up there. But I would never, ever expect something to move up 400%. Ever. Like, that's just crazy. But we know these things can do it, right? We know they can do it. It's just not likely. So, I mean, I really can't give you a profit target. Not one that's within probabilities. Probabilities say you have exceeded your profit target for the day by a factor of 2. Yeah. Before you take any position, you need to look at your average true range, whatever time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at taking a position on an intraday basis, that's fine. You still want to know about what the daily range is, so that way you can identify a target. Let's see if we can find something that hasn't moved a lot. Okay, so Pendle hasn't moved a lot today, right? And this daily range is a big daily range, but it's within the realm of possibility. You can see multiple daily candles that are pretty large on this. So you want to use your average true range. This is 25 cents is a normal daily range for this. So say you bought the open of the day right? You just wait till the open of the day, which is 8 p.m. for me, and you just buy it. Then you could have a standard target of 25 cents. Wait. Something is wrong. Hang on, I'm reading something wrong here. I see. Right there. Right here. This would be your target. 24 cents. That's within the realm of possibilities. Because that's what you're currently moving. I would do one better and do the midpoint, right? Because the midpoint makes your probability of your target getting hit much more. Like you have more probabilities that your 383 target will get hit more than your 396 target. Does that make sense? And that goes the same for your shorts, guys. Your shorts. You do not want to make targets that are much more beyond your average true range. Generally, a rule of thumb is the midpoint. So if you short the open, then your downside target would just be the midpoint of this daily range, the previous day's range. So your short entry, we can just look at this on another chart instead of deleting all my lines. Perfect. So your downside short would look like this. You would short the open, right? And your downside target would be the midpoint of the previous day's candle. And then your stop loss would be that. So this is a normal standard trade. Within reason. So this right here just makes your probabilities better. Now we don't know what direction price is ever going to go. But when you structure your trades, if you're structuring them in a way that it doesn't make probability sense, then your target's like so less likely to get hit. It's not even funny. Like just these simple little things are so helpful for newer traders. Most people will ignore the stuff that I am saying to you right now, and literally it's going to help you so much. You're going to see more and more targets get achieved instead of what you probably got now. Like if you're buying candles that are already up 20-something% on the day and you're expecting another 60% move in order to just hit profits, how likely do you think that is? It's not. It's not very likely at all. So yeah, make sure you're putting targets on these things that are achievable. And the best way to do that is with an average true range. Now, clearly, our targets can get hit, and then we could see a much better profit target or a much better profit potential, because if we nail the trade at the right time, at the right place, we won't never know when or where that is, right? It's not our job to know when and where or what price is going to do from there. It's our job to manage our money. That's our job. So I don't know that pendle or this will turn around at the open. I have no clue. But just by putting my profit target here, it makes it a much more manageable condition for the trade to actually work out. So if it does reject and it does go in my direction, I exit, a portion of that. I go ahead and pay myself, make sure that I'm paid, and then I leave the rest on. So if it does get continuation and you get lucky and it just continues to move and move and move, that trade's going to make you a lot of money. It just will, because you will have taken the position with the right kind of expectations at the right time and place. Now, watching my levels, that isn't going to guarantee you that you're going to win trades. It's just better places to watch to put trades on, because you can back test and see, right? Well, you don't even have to back test. You can just simply see the candles. You can see them. This candle closed there. So had you bought because you're testing support on this day, let's just assume the 21 exponential is here, right? So you're going to buy the open of this day with a manageable profit expectation of your whatever your indicator tells you. Your average true range, which I obviously deleted accidentally somehow. Oh no, I don't have it on this chart. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, but anyways, you get your target from your average true range, you buy the open. Then that would put your profit target roughly about right here. Correct? Okay, so then you get out, you take profits, you move your stop, and all that good stuff. Right? You would have got stopped out there. Okay, it happens. There's no way for us to know what's going to happen in the future. So maybe don't move your stop. I don't know. You can tweak it. Do what works for you. Once you have enough data to look back and see, then just tweak it to fit the data parameters. But, I mean, just by getting long this candle at the open, say you were lucky and you held it 6 to 8 days later, you're doing real good. But you can just see how the candles like basically open and they either progress higher or they progress lower from the open. So clearly the open of a monthly candle is a good place to watch if you're expecting an upside expansion for that month. Just watch the open. You can watch the daily opens the same way, with a few caveats, right? It can always liquidate the previous day's high or low. So if you have a long bias here, it doesn't even liquidate the high, and it rolls back over, gets back under the open. You know this day is red. You know it is. So in that scenario, you would be well suited to short because you're red on the day and your profit target midpoint of this day's range. And then you hold that trade, and then you get lucky, you don't get stopped out here or here, and then you get continuation. So just by watching the opens of the days, the opens of the weeks, and the opens of the months, and understanding that you're looking for price to aggregate away from that open in either direction, you really don't care. Either direction. It can go up, it can go down. What's most likely? Well, if it's red on the month, what is the last three? Always the last three. Whether you're looking for a day trade, I want to know what the last 3 days have done. If I'm looking for a swing trade on a monthly basis, I want to know what the last 3 months have done. I want to know which direction price is moving. Which way is price objectively aggregating right now? And then I'll use that info to make my analysis. So far, we got an up month in July. Now, this thing could trade back under the open. We know it can. But we're 21 days left on this range. If you wait until August's open, wherever that may be, if this is trading up here, then you can make an objective, or you can decide to say, well, maybe this has gone far enough. Maybe I want to short this month. Well, then maybe wait until you liquidate the previous month's high before you put that short on, If the open is in this area, right? Up in here. If August's open is, say, around $4.50. If you liquidate the previous month's open and then you turn red on the month, then you can take the short, use this as your stop placement, and then use your average true range on the monthly time frame to dictate your target and cut that in half. Cut that in half. So this month's range is $1.45 from low to high. So if you short here at 450, then your profit target would be what? $3. Or 350. I'm doing my math wrong. It would be 450. A dollar would be 450 lower. So there would be your profit target. This moves $1.50. You're not looking for the entire range. You're looking for half. So 75 cents lower than your open. So 325 would be your profit target. And you're short. The probabilities of that working out are now a coin flip, but still you're better positioned for success. I hope this is sinking in for you all, because that's all I'm doing. Like, I can't predict what price will do. It's impossible. So stop trying to predict what price will do. Just look at the data you currently have and fit a best trade around that scenario. That's all I'm ever doing. Like, when I'm giving you guys entries and exits and critiquing what I think is going to happen, I'm just using the data that I currently have, and then I'm trying to fit a trade into that without trying to guess which way price is going to go. It's impossible to guess which way price is going to go. That's the one thing that we cannot factor into our analysis. Some people are saying that a $7,000 target is impossible to achieve on the S&P 500. I would say, no, it is not. It just depends on the time frame of that expectation, right? If you're expecting a $7,000 profit target next month, then is that likely? No, of course not. But if you're expecting a $7,000 price target next year, that is well within reason to achieve. So now you just need to figure out where you want to put that position on at. Well, if you're expecting it to happen by July 2026, then August's open would be a fantastic place to open that trade. Especially if you're willing to hold it until August 2026. That's all we can do. Candlestick analysis is so overlooked because people want to throw labels on it. They want to call it a shooting star or this and that. These different patterns that have these cool names that make you sound like you're hyper smart and all this other garbage. It's all garbage. They're selling you a dream. They're selling you a dream. That is not how professional traders operate in this market. It isn't. They are essentially saying, can we achieve this target in this amount of time? If the answer is yes, they throw on the position. They've got billions of dollars, so they can't just go and market order into a $2 billion position. They have to fill it over time. They're not going to fill it on a support level, on a technical level. They're going to fill it at a price they like, which is probably going to be the open. So wherever August opens, if their price target is $7,000, if it opens at 6,500, then they want to get filled in the month of August at 6,500. They don't give a shit if it's day 1, day 2, day 6, day 12 in the month. They just know they want to get filled at 6,500 because they have a price objective of $7,000 in a year. So they'll set their bots to buy every $6,500 retest in the month of August. That is why when you dot or plot a monthly open, for instance, let's just go back and plot June's open. Just go down in time, right? And think like a billionaire. Think like $1 billion money manager. I have $6 billion that I need to fill. What's your price target? Well, let me see here. It looks like we've moved up 19% from the April lows. I'm not expecting price to continue to move that high because the VIX is going to go down for the rest of the year and probably stay down going into 2026. So I have to split this in half. Okay, so if 970, half of that is roughly 400. So I want to fill $6 billion at 5,900 because I think price can get to 6,300. That's a $400 price target. This was a shitty example. I'm sorry, because it only retested June's open once. I was actually looking for one of those months that you get price moving up and down, up and down, up and down throughout the whole month. That's when a day trader gets chopped to pieces. But what you're failing to understand is these big money managers, they're getting filled at 5,902 throughout the entire month because their price target is a year away, not tomorrow, not next month. It's this time next year, all the way out into here. So they'll fill this price forever until they get off all their position. Because remember, their analytics or their analysis has told them the most likely scenario is that we see a $6,400 S&P by this time next year. That's what they're filling on. They're not filling on an exponential moving average crossover or a Bollinger Band tightening up or an order block. They're not filling on any of that info. They don't give a... That's all retail jargon. That's all stuff people's invented to sell you guys. That's it. There's not many professional traders using any of that stuff. They're basically making an assessment with all the info that we have at our fingertips on certain prices getting hit. It's the likelihood, like I've been telling you, try to be a buyer in a bullish market. This is a bullish market, but if you follow 1,600 bears and 2 bulls, you're going to think I'm full of shit, and you're probably going to listen to those bears instead of me. And I could be full of shit. I don't know. I can't tell you what price is going to do. But we're in a rate cutting cycle. The Fed is looking to cut interest rates. Jobs numbers are good. The market's good. The economy's growing. We have a very bullish president. A president who looks for all-time high markets. You're in a bullish market cycle. You should have bullish targets, not bearish targets. It's bullish, guys. It's objectively bullish. You are up on the year. You are up on the month. You are objectively bullish, not bearish. Bearish is the opposite. Bearish is when you're making lower lows and lower highs. Bearish is when the Fed is going to have to hike interest rates. Bearish is when we are going to see a recession because we already have 3 of the 4 data points telling us we're going to see a recession. That is a bearish scenario. That is when you should be looking for bearish trades. When the macro fits the bearish thesis, then you look for short trades. When the macro supports the bullish thesis, you look for bullish trades. It really is that simple. But no one wants to believe that it is so. Because people think that they can come out here and they can predict what price will do. None of us can. I don't know what price is going to do from one day to the next. How is it that I am a day trader? Because I don't lose more than a set amount of money every single week. If I hit that limit, I am done trading that week. It's that simple. If I'm doing good, I will keep trading. Right? That's what I'm doing. That's all I am doing differently than you. I am managing my money. You are gambling yours. And once you understand these things, guys, you're going to be able to do this. You're going to quit trying to predict what price will do. You're going to quit shorting all-time high S&Ps. It just makes so much sense. Why short that? Why? Because someone on Twitter thinks it's going down? Get real. This thing ain't went down all year since April set the low. It's been going up, 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 up. You're about to make fresh all-time highs again. Are you going to short that? Well, if you do, then you're doing the exact same thing that you're not supposed to do. Literally, I wouldn't doubt it if this time in 3 months, the S&P's at 6450. By December, 6450. That's a complete positive scenario. It can absolutely happen. It probably is going to happen. A lot of money's on the sidelines still, guys. A lot of people missed this low because their analysis was that we were going to see higher inflation due to tariffs. The Fed was not going to be able to cut interest rates. We are in a tightening cycle. The Fed has been in a tightening cycle for far too long. The markets are going to continue to go down. They were wrong. They are still wrong. The market did not do that. It did the opposite. Trump pulled back on his tariff talks. The Fed is still talking about cutting interest rates. The market is still pricing in interest rate cuts this year. This year. Their bearish thesis was incorrect. It was wrong. That's why I was shocked to see it go down that far. I was literally telling people to buy that. I do not see the macro reason for this. That was the exact way that I put it. Like, there just ain't a bearish. It's not bearish. But now we're at all-time highs again, and people want to know what to do today. Well, I can't tell you what's going to happen today. I've never been able to do that. I never will be able to do that. What I can tell you is what is a possible price projection for the day. The best way to get those day trade possible price projections, average true range. So please, if you're buying daily highs on a market that's already moved up 20% on that day, your price target of another 80% higher is probably not likely. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I literally want you guys to learn how to do this the right way, like the pros. I want you guys to start making withdrawals, not keep buying more so you can keep trading. I want you to make withdrawals, weekly withdrawals. I withdraw weekly. I pay myself every week. I run my own business. My business is trading. I make weekly withdrawals. I pay myself like an employee does, but I pay myself an expectable amount of money, a respectable amount. I'm not paying myself millions of dollars a week. I'm paying myself on a weekly basis about 30 grand a year. Because with my living conditions, that's more than enough money for me to eat out 3 times a day, every single day. All my bills are paid. I don't need any more money than that. My truck drives. It's always fixed when it breaks down. I don't owe money on it. It's my truck. I own it. Like, my conditions are situated so I need very little money to make day-to-day decisions. So I don't need to pay myself $1 million a week. I'm just gonna have cash sitting in my house in cardboard boxes. If I did that, I don't use that much cash. $4,000 cash would last me about 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So these are just little things, but that will completely change your life. They'll completely change your aspect of what we are actually doing. We're not super geniuses that can look at this and tell you what the exact price will be tomorrow. If I could do that, I'd be a trillionaire. Nobody can. All the people saying, I called this, I called that. They didn't call nothing. They called nothing. Yeah, they made a call. It ended up being right. But price was probably going to aggregate either up or down anyway, right? And they're not right 100% of the time. Most of your biggest Twitter followers are wrong on 50% of their calls because it's a 50% probability of them getting it correct. They're making a prediction, and some of them can make the right call, some of them can't. But that's not how you make money in this business. You make money by taking trades at the right times, at the right places, making sure you have money at work for you. So that way, when price aggregates in that direction, you get rewarded for it. That's what investing is. Whether it's a daytime investment, a week time investment, a month time investment, or a lifetime investment. Bitcoin is still chopping, which is normal. It broke out yesterday. It had a big move yesterday. So it's within reason that it's going to chop all day today. It's literally tearing traders apart. Literally. Intraday scalpers are getting mutilated by Bitcoin today. Every time they've bought the VWAP, they've been stopped out. Every time they've sold the VWAP, they've been stopped out. Yeah, sucks to be them. Meanwhile, I'm still holding my Fartcoin position. It isn't working yet. But I have my risk is mitigated. First, because I took the trade yesterday. Right? Took the trade yesterday. Today, I took profits because it was moving up, and then I took another trade. So now I need price to migrate or mitigate, or not mitigate, but aggregate higher. It needs to aggregate higher from here in order for me to make money. However, if I close the trade out, if we start closing candles under 113, then I will still make money. How will I not make money? Is if we get something like this, then I will not make money, especially if it happens that fast. I will not make money. I will lose money. I will get stopped out. But as long as price aggregates on a normal basis from here on out for the rest of the day, I will not lose money on this trade. I already know where I'm going to take I can not lose money on this trade right now just by simply putting a stop loss up there, right? So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's get over here on the Fartster. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. Here's where my entry is. So literally all I have to do is put a stop loss right here. I will lose half of my unrealized gains here. Unrealized gains of 440. So if it aggregates lower, I'll lose half. All right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you all trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.